You're a helpless cub, born alongside one or two siblings inside a rocky den carved into a cliff that most creatures couldn't even reach. The air is thin and bitter cold here, somewhere high in the mountains of Central Asia, the Himalayas, the Karakoram, the Altai, at elevations that would leave a human gasping and dizzy. You arrive into a world of gray stone and frozen wind, blind, deaf, and barely larger than a man's fist. A passing hawk could carry you off without breaking a sweat. Your mother is here. She's your everything. She is literally the only adult you will ever know. No pride, no aunts, no communal warmth. Just her, you, and the unforgiving mountain. She licks you clean and curls around you. Her thick fur the only thing standing between you and the cold that would kill you in hours. Her den is lined with her own shed fur, which she pulled from her belly to keep you warm. You don't know this yet. You don't know anything yet. You're just cold, and then suddenly less cold, and that's the whole of your world. Days pass. Your mother rarely leaves. She's burning through her fat reserves just lying here with you, and she's already lean from the brutal winter. But she won't hunt yet, not while you're this fragile. A few days in, she finally has to go. She tucks you and your siblings into the warmest corner of the den and slips out into the mountain silence. You have no idea she's gone. You just know it's colder now. She returns. She always returns for now. At around 10 days old, your eyes begin to open. The world appears as a blur of gray and white in the warm amber of your mother's fur. You can hear the wind outside, a low, constant moan through the rocks. Occasionally something bigger moves past the den entrance and your mother goes very still, and so do you, though you don't know why. Instinct is a remarkable thing. By 3 to 4 weeks old, your legs start to cooperate, though only barely. You stumble around the den like a tiny drunk, bumping into your siblings, rolling over your own paws, absolutely convinced you're doing great. The den that once felt enormous now feels like it has walls. You can smell the outside world, cold air, rock, something alive and distant, and it calls to you. But your mother has other ideas. The den is safe, the outside is not. One day she returns from a hunt with blood on her muzzle and a limp in her back leg. She slipped on an ice shelf, chasing a blue sheep across a slope no sane creature would attempt. She caught it, but barely. You press against her side and feel her breathing, heavy and unsteady. She eats well tonight, you nurse. But the lesson is written in her labored breath. This mountain asks everything of you, and sometimes takes more than you can give. At 6 weeks old, the den is no longer enough. Your mother begins nudging you toward the entrance, a gap between two boulders that opens onto a ledge above a valley so vast it makes your small head swim. The wind hits you like a wall. You squint. Below, far below, a river glitters between snowfields. The world is enormous and white and terrifyingly open. You retreat back inside. Your mother nudges you out again. This is your life now. Your early weeks outside the den are spent close to its entrance, tumbling with your sibling, gnawing on rocks, and occasionally spotting your mother watching you from a nearby boulder with the serene patience of someone who has seen everything. Sometimes she brings back a pika, a tiny round-eared creature, and drops it in front of you. You sniff it. You bat it. You're not quite sure what it's for. Your mother eats it while you watch, and you go back to nursing. Soon enough. By 3 months, you're weaned, and the real education begins. Your mother is one of the most skilled hunters in the animal kingdom, a predator who can leap 6 times her own body length and bring down prey 3 times her weight on terrain that would break a mountain goat's legs. Watching her hunt is like watching someone solve an impossible equation with perfect calm. She belly crawls across exposed ridgelines for hours. She uses the wind. She memorizes every rock. And then she drops. Silent, precise, devastating. You watch, you try to imitate, you fall over a lot. By 5 to 6 months, you're accompanying her on patrols, learning the boundaries of her territory, a range that can stretch across hundreds of square kilometers of mountain. You mark rocks with scent just as she does. You scrape at the ground in the same spots she does, learning the grammar of a language written in smell and scratch marks, messages left for other leopards who may pass through. There are other snow leopards out there. You'll rarely see them. Occasionally, you'll find their scrape marks or smell their scent on a marking post, a sort of lonesome message in a bottle. Your mother responds in kind. Distance is the rule here. This mountain has enough hunger in it already without Leopard. At 18 months, your mother begins to withdraw. The bond loosens gradually. She ranges farther, stays away longer, shares kills less readily. She's not abandoning you. She's finishing you. She's been teaching you since the day you first stumbled out of that den, and now the lessons are almost done. One day, she simply doesn't come back to the den. You wait. She doesn't return. You are alone. The solitude is absolute in a way that's difficult to overstate. Snow leopards don't form coalitions or travel in pairs. You are, from this moment forward, the only company you will keep, except for the brief, wary encounters that lead to mating and the cubs you may one day raise yourself. The mountain is enormous, and you are alone on it, and this is simply how it is. Your first solo hunts are humbling. You misjudge distances. You rush when you should wait. You choose exposed approach routes that telegraph your presence. The blue sheep see you coming and are gone before you've covered half the distance, leaping across gaps in the cliff face that make your stomach drop just watching them. You go hungry for days, but you learn. You always learn. By your second year, you are hunting with real skill, using the same patience and precision your mother modeled for you. Day after day, out on those frozen ridge lines. A parle, a blue sheep, brought down cleanly on a slope that would have been impossible a year ago. You drag the carcass into cover and eat for 3 days. The territory is yours to claim now, if you can hold it. You find an unclaimed range and begin marking it, leaving your signature across hundreds of kilometers of mountain. Other leopards come and you drive them off or are driven off yourself, the boundaries of your range shifting slowly as you grow stronger and more established. Years pass in this rhythm. Hunt, eat, patrol, mark, sleep in the sun on a high flat rock. Move with the prey as the seasons turn. In spring and summer you push higher, into the thin air above the snowline where the world is all rock and sky and silence. In winter, you follow the herds down. You become part of this mountain's logic, as old and necessary as the wind. At around 3 years old, the urge to find a mate becomes impossible to ignore. You follow scent trails left by a female, chuffing softly as you track her across the mountain. Encounters are cautious, circling affairs, two solitary predators built for wariness, trying to bridge a distance that instinct normally enforces. But you manage. They always manage. The urge is older than the caution. She moves on. You move on. If she has cubs, you won't know about them. If they're yours, you'll never meet them. This is not a relationship. It's a necessary collision. You continue your solitary circuit of the mountain and try not to think about it. At 10 years old, the hunting is harder. Your joints ache in the cold. Your reactions are slower by a fraction of a second. Barely perceptible to a human observer. Catastrophic on a cliff face at full sprint. You miss hunts you would have made at 5. You lose kills to younger leopards who are quicker and bolder. If you don't make the kill, you don't eat. The humans have not gone away. Their villages have grown. Their livestock herds are larger. Climate change has pushed your prey into different altitudes at strange times of year, disrupting patterns you spent a decade learning. There are only a few thousand of your kind left alive anywhere on Earth. You don't know this, but you can feel the mountain getting lonelier. One winter, the hunting fails entirely for 2 weeks. You find a barrel carcass, killed by cold or illness, impossible to say, and eat gratefully, though it settles badly. You move on. Then one morning on a high slope, chasing a young ibex across a stretch of exposed rock, your back leg slides on a patch of ice. You overcorrect. The landing is wrong, a jolt that travels up your spine and tells you immediately that something is damaged. You limp to a sheltered ledge and lie still, licking the leg, waiting. It doesn't get better. You hunt anyway, slower now, favoring the bad leg, adapting your approach to compensate. Some hunts succeed, most don't. The cold is worse this year, or perhaps you're just feeling it more. You find a sheltered spot between 2 boulders on a south-facing slope where the sun reaches in the afternoon, and you spend more time there, watching the valley below, the river, the tiny moving dots of livestock in the distance. One afternoon, you simply don't get up when the sun moves off the rocks and the cold returns. The mountain is quiet. The wind moves through the stones the way it always has. Somewhere below, a herder's dog barks at something, then stops. You've had an eventful life. The mountain keeps the rest.